Hey everybody, my name is Jennifer. This is Metatron speaking. This is Oliver, and today we're gonna be doing some past lives again. This is actually the first time that I've been given past lives that don't end with somebody dying or something horrible happening. So I don't know what I did to get this gift from Metatron, but he's given me two different lives where nothing horrible happens. Oh, and we got a purring cat. He was chewing on my microphone cord, so I thought I would pick him up, but now I'm kind of scared to put him down because I'm pretty sure he's going to chew on the cord again. Hopefully not. Okay, yeah, you see the shaking of the camera? This is him. So as he gets settled, hopefully he chooses to lay down. So remember I was talking about, sorry, my camera's all funky monkey. Yeah, he's totally going to chew. He's chewing on the cord right now. Baby, lay down. Lay down. So remember how I told you that Metatron, I've been trying to do oracle card readings for myself lately, and instead of giving me like oracle card messages, he's giving me oracle cards that are directing me to, sorry, Kefir, directing me to like the next vision or the next thing that I'm going to be channeling from him. So this is one of those cases. So check this out. So make a decision. So he gives me this card. And one side of this woman is like golden, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's actually Egyptian. It's got like Egyptian symbolism on that golden side of her. And then the other side is like, I don't know, green and lush and rainforesty. So it's two different choices, right? So when he showed me this, I knew that he was going to show me that these represented two different lifetimes that he would show me or that he was willing to show me. And it says make a decision. So I said, do I have to make a decision? And he's like, no. So I was like, oh, cool. You're going to show me both. So I asked him to show me the Egyptian one first. So I'm going to pull up my notes. Um, so I asked for the Egyptian one first, and my head goes up. You know, my shoulders go up and my head points straight up. And like 90% of the time when that happens, it's well, actually 100% of the time lately when it's happening, it's been creator who's been that's how he gets my attention, that I know it's him that wants to talk to me. So I was kind of confused. I was like, God? And I heard no. And I was like, oh, Ra. Because remember the last time I talked to Ra, he did the same thing where he lifted my head, my chin up super high to look at him. And I was like joking with him that he's not that tall. So I was like, "Bro," and he said yes. And I was like, hey, because it head was like straight up. So I was like, can you shrink yourself down? And so I was waiting, and my head was still pointing straight up. So I was like, okay, more, okay, more. Keep shrinking yourself down. And my head is still pointing straight up. So I was like, Raw, my neck hurts. Like, can you just come at my level? So he finally shrunk down enough that my head was at his level. I'm sorry, guys. I have like cat fur. King Oliver is on my lap right now. You can't see him, but he's being pet. He's very happy. Um, but his cat fur is everywhere. So Raw shrinks down to my level, so my head can finally be in a normal position. And we start the vision. And it was interesting. So I was a priestess for Ra the god, in Egypt. So I'm very like solemn and serious. I'm wearing nice clothing. I have like gold jewelry on. And I do everything very precisely, very perfectly for Ra, the god that I'm tending to and in charge of communicating with. And I do it very perfectly because I want him to know that he is adored and we respect him and we love him and we need him. So I'm doing my usual work at his, it's hard to explain. There's like a statue or an altar or something, some kind of structure that's supposed to like represent Ra, and that's where I like place all of the sacrifices and I do all my rituals for him. So somebody who works for the pharaoh comes and they're kind of like stressed out and they come to get me and they say that the pharaoh wants to talk to me. So I'm like, okay. So I go to the pharaoh. He wants Ra to make it rain as a show of the pharaoh's power to the people. So I'm concerned with asking Ra for this because this is not something that's like a need. Like when I go to Ra, it's like I need it to be something important that I can justify asking for his intervention. Um, but you don't tell the pharaoh no. So tell the pharaoh yes. I will ask Ra. And so I'm kind of freaked out because I'm like, great, my one boss wants me to talk to my other boss, and I don't want to piss either boss off. So my hands are like shaking when I say the prayers for Ra. Ra has me go into like a deep meditation. And during the meditation, I see Ra, and he's like an outline of fire, his body, and he's on like a one-person chariot that's also like an outline made of fire. He's got a whip in his hand. He shows me that he will make it rain in Egypt. So I tell the pharaoh, and he like announces it to everyone that this is going to happen in advance. Like it's going to rain, and this is because I don't know how he says it, but to show how powerful he is and how godlike the pharaoh is, how in line the pharaoh is with Ra, the god of gods. Um, so he does this, and I am super worried for my life because if it doesn't rain, I'm going to be killed for humiliating the pharaoh. Because the pharaoh, whoever it was at this time, was very unpredictable, he was not a good leader at all. And it's just like my ego talking to me saying, well, we're in Egypt. Egypt doesn't rain very much. If it rains, like it's pretty wild for it to rain here because it doesn't do that very often. So if I'm wrong, Pharaoh will basically say that like I've fallen out of favor with Ra and I'm going to lose my job and I'll probably lose my life only because this Pharaoh is a wild card. Like he's very unpredictable. So he'll probably have me killed. Um So there are no clouds in the sky the day that I say this. And so Pharaoh says he will wait 3 days for this to happen. So on the third day, it hasn't rained, the sky is clear, and I'm stressing out. And so I actually go to Ra and I start asking him if I misunderstood him. And I hear him respond. And this is the first time in that lifetime I've ever heard Ra. And he says to me, I will not leave you. Just very, the energy of him saying that is super in line with the energy I get from Creator. So I know that Creator spoke through Ra even even back then. Um, so he says this, and then however long later, short while later, clouds come quickly and it rains for a few minutes, lightly at first and then harder. So everyone's super joyous for this rain, especially me, because it means I don't have to die. I don't have to lose my job. So it is a miracle to have that when that rain came, it really was a miracle. And Ra spoke to me, and I was so grateful for that. And I feel my bond to Ra in that lifetime, and I'm just so happy. And so it was a really positive lifetime for them to show me where the divine stepped in when I needed them to step in, and I understood them correctly, and they supported me. And it was just beautiful and really nice for me to see that. So that was the Egyptian lifetime. And then so I asked, okay, show me this like lush green lifetime. What's this about? So this second lifetime is on Lemuria. So Lemuria, there's lush greenery, but it's like an island. Um, and so on Lemuria, we live as like one large tribe, basically. I can hear drums playing, and there's people chanting as I'm working or as people work. I have dark hair, really dark hair. I'm a female. And as I go to pass by the people on the drums, I just come over and like start drumming with them. Like there's an open drum and I just take it and I must play with them all the time because I know exactly what they're playing. And it's like this really short rhythm that they keep just repeating, repeating, repeating. So I join in with them. It's very like methodical and it's almost like can put you into a trance, these drums that are just repeating in this way. And so I feel really connected to the divine when I'm drumming because it's like it raises your frequency into that same space where you can access information from the divine. So this is embarrassing. Don't judge me. So in this lifetime, there's like a spiritual leader, and I have a major crush on this guy. Major crush on this guy. So he's the spiritual leader of our tribe. He's calm, he smiles really easily. Um he's wise even though he's young. He's probably like 10 years older than me because I think I'm about 20 and I think he's about 30. And I see myself this is like another scene after the drums. I see myself sitting outside and a bunch of people just sitting outside cross-legged and we're like weaving like baskets. And it's something that I could tell, like, I enjoy doing it. Like, it's difficult work, but once you learn it, it's easy and you can just it's kind of like the drums, where you can kind of go into that really relaxed space and access deeper thoughts while you're sitting there weaving these baskets. So a lot of the work there was just really conducive to spirituality. Um, So I'm weaving the baskets, and I know that later that day I have like a meeting with the spiritual leader. So I'm like, excited because I love him. Um, and so I have these periodic meetings with the spiritual leader. He is teaching me where to go. He is helping me to learn to astro travel into higher dimensions. So where the soul leaves the body and the soul can then go anywhere in the world, go anywhere in the universe. And it's amazing. And I cannot do it in this lifetime. So it's extra interesting. Um, so I go to meet him, and it's like he has a tent that he like works out of during the day or whatnot. So we're both in there, and we're sitting cross-legged across from each other, and there's like some type of incense burning. And so we get right into the practice. So we're closing our eyes and we're just going deep into meditation. And so I get really relaxed and I forget where I am because I'm like just in the zone in my head and I lose track of myself. And someone taps me on the shoulder, but it's not in real life. Someone taps me on the shoulder in the spiritual world. And so with my energetic body, I open my eyes and look up. It's my spiritual teacher in the energetic world. And so he's smiling and he's like holding out his hand for me to come join him. And so I'm like, holy cow, because this is the first time this has happened. So I go with him and we're like, it's crazy. We're like running through the darkness. It's like black, but there's stars. It's almost like we're in the sky, but we're running through it. And even though it's dark, we can see each other perfectly. And I remember feeling like surprised that he was so playful because we're like little kids running through the sky, right? And I was like, oh, this is like interesting that he's so playful because in the real life with our bodies, he's like more reserved. So we're just having fun. And then he takes his hand and he like cuts through a place in the darkness and opens it up. And he makes this opening. And then he kind of looks behind him and reaches back with his hand to like have me come with him through this opening. And so I take his hand and we go through. And when we go through this opening, it's like a black tunnel, but the tunnel is like swirling around us. And there's almost like really tiny lights in the tunnel swirling around. It's almost like specks of glitter. And so it's kind of like a wormhole, which is I think what it was. I don't know. But we're going through this tunnel, and the tunnel it actually kind of looks liquid, if that makes any sense. And so we go through the tunnel and then we land somewhere. And where we land, there's no sun, but everything is still lit up. We can see everything still. The sky is dark, and there are stars and planets in the sky. And we can see there is a white creature, a unicorn with a magnificent wingspan in front of us. So this is a Pegasus. So as soon as I figure out what this is, I like beeline for it. Because I'm in love with it. I'm enamored with it, and I love them in this lifetime. So, oops, sorry guys, touch my mic. I love them in this lifetime. So that explains maybe where this started. Um, but so I go right over to this Pegasus and I make sure that it's not scared of me, and it's not. And I go and I'm petting its nose. Um, and I can like hear the thoughts of this creature, and it knows that I don't belong in this dimension, but it's curious about me. So, next thing I know, my spiritual teacher is like there next to me and he's like, rubbing its neck. And he's like looking at my reaction and he's like enjoying that I'm like thinking this is so cool. And I'm pretty sure he has been here before. I don't think that's his first time there. So I look over to my right and there's another Pegasus. And this one is super dark black. And so I wander over to pet that one, and that one loves me. She's like pushing her nose against my hand for me to pet her. And she's so like I'm like very energetically in tune with this Pegasus, so I like climb on her to ride her. And so my teacher is with the white one and sees me, and so he gets on the white Pegasus, and both of them kind of take off following each other. And so they're flying, and so it's through the stars at night on these Pegasus, and I am just so in love with mine that I am just like laying on the neck of mine and just like I was just so happy. I was in my happy place. Um, and the Pegasus is like so dark that she's almost like shiny because it's just such shiny fur, shiny hair, like it's just crazy. Just very healthy looking creature, long wavy mane. Um, so when they land again, it's in a different place than where we took off from. Where they land, well, where they took off from was kind of dirt, and where they land was kind of more like a grassy green place. And there are plants, and there's a waterfall. And so there's this like really beautiful waterfall. And I really wanted to go over and see the really beautiful waterfall, but not a lot because I really wanted to stay with my Pegasus. I like did not want to leave it because I felt like it would just disappear if I left it. Um, but I do end up leaving the Pegasus to go explore. So the water from the waterfall was like glowing. And so I'm like sticking my hands in it because I feel like, oh, it's glowing. Like something's going to happen when I stick my hands in this water, but nothing happened. Um, so I was doing that. And then there was some kind of disturbance with where we were. And so it was like it was becoming difficult to stay in that dimension. So something was calling me back to my body. So the vision fades out and it feels like I'm moving, but I don't see anything. And eventually I can feel my body again. And it takes me a while, but I remember, oh yeah, I'm sitting cross-legged, I'm sitting in the sun. So I open my eyes and I'm trying to wake up and my shoulder hurts. Like, ah, ow, ow, ow. What is hurting me? And I look and on my shoulder is like this little green bug that was like biting my shoulder. And so I was like, "Ah!" So I like flicked it off of me, brushed it away. But that's what woke me up. So it bit my body. And so my body was like, hey, you got to get back over here and deal with this. So it pulled me out of the vision. So I look over and my teacher is still sitting cross-legged with his eyes closed and he's like mumbling to himself and he's like I think he's trying to come back. And then I start to remember, it's almost like it was a dream. I start to remember what happened. I was like, "Oh yeah, we were like riding Pegasus. Like, oh my gosh." And like so I'm remembering everything that happened. And so he finally wakes up and he sees me and he's like, "What happened? Like I didn't know where you went." And so we're just laughing. I was like, "Oh my gosh, like that was real. Like you were there too." Like and so we're just reliving the event just to make sure like, "Okay, so you saw that too, right? Like we were both there. That's really what happened, right?" And so it's crazy that people can astral travel together and have the same experience. So holy cow. I mean, I would love to do that in this lifetime. I would love to just astral travel at all in this lifetime. I've tried it before where there's like those instructional videos that tell you like, okay, relax, and then, try to roll out of your body. And then when the part comes where you're trying to roll out of your body, I always get nervous, and so it doesn't work. Um, Maybe I should try it again. Maybe I'm more brave now. I don't know why I get nervous. I really shouldn't. Because you can always come back to your body. It's not like your body's gonna not be there for you. Um, but yeah, man, if anybody has astro traveled before, they have if they want to describe their experiences in the comments, or if you want to give me tips for how to get out of my body without being freaked out, or man, if anyone's ever astro traveled with someone else like this past life, I would love to hear about that. That would just be the most fascinating thing. So those are my two past lives. Nobody died. Everything was happy. There was an Egyptian god and there was Pegasus, so it was amazing for me. So hopefully you guys were entertained by this. If you have any astral travel experience, let me know. I would love to do this in this lifetime. So see you guys next time. Bye bye.